Hey YouTube family, it's Humberto from GrayLaw TV, and we have our second mock I-751 waiver interview, and this one, unlike the first one, is exactly how it should go. So me as the officer, my assistant Jen as the applicant. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm well, thank you.
Good, thank you so much for coming.
Yes, of course, I came with all of my documents in hand, so if there's anything you need,
Good.
I'm ready to go.
And thank you so much for wearing your mask.
Of course.
And being respectful, I really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you for wearing yours.
So do you know why you're here today?
Yes, I'm here for my I-751 waiver application for the interview.
Very good. So I'm going to place you under oath. Can you raise your right hand? Do you promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And do you understand that I'm taking notes here? If there's inconsistencies in your testimony, I can find fraud. A fraud is a permanent bar. So if you don't know an answer, please do not guess. Okay? You could tell me you don't know. If you don't understand a question, I will happily rephrase it for you. Okay? 2 years ago, you filed the I-751 application. Okay? And it looks like you provided a lot of documentation in connection with that application. Do you have any further documentation from that date of filing to prove your case?
I did, unfortunately, get divorced from my husband, and I did bring that documentation.
Okay, well...
Is that something I can give to you?
Well, what is all of this?
This is all of my, from marriage certificate, from affidavits of support from my husband's family, or soon-to-be ex.
Oh, thank you so much. So this is a lot of good documentation. I see here joint bank accounts, health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, and it looks like this is all recent stuff as well. That's good.
Yes, it's very recent.
Okay, very good. Okay, photos. Okay, this is very good. So this, as well as the documentation you submitted at the time of filing, is really good. I'll make sure that this gets in the file, and I'll go through it a little bit more as well. So when you filed this petition 2 years ago, you were still married. Is that correct?
Yes, I was still married.
Okay, and you indicated earlier that you're divorced. Okay, so when did you separate from your husband?
So we separated a year ago today, actually.
Okay. Okay. And so, did you file for divorce?
Yes, we filed for divorce, and the paperwork is in that file as well.
Okay. Let's take a look at that. Because I cannot approve your case without a final divorce decree. I see here you have it indexed at C.
Yes, it's under C. That's all of the paperwork involved with the divorce, and right on top is the final decree.
Very good. Okay, so yeah, if this interview goes well, then I can approve your case today, because you do have a final decree. That's good. And it looks like the divorce is final, okay? All right, let's talk a little bit about the relationship. When did you meet?
So my now ex-husband and I met about 4 years ago through a mutual friend. And, he similarly to me was raised in a small town. And so, we got to know each other at a party that our friend had invited us both to in hopes that we would get to meet each other and get along.
And where was this party?
It was in Los Angeles.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so, when did you first start dating?
Through social media, actually, we added each other as friends. And from there, simple conversation turned into let's meet up in person. We talked a lot about that party, and we had a lot of topics in common, or it seemed like we were hitting it off. So I decided to take him up on his offer to go get coffee, and we met up. And after that, we just, we were inseparable. We saw each other every day, and I thought, he was everything to me, and he made a life here possible, which I never thought that I could have previously. I knew it was going to be a journey getting here, but with him, I knew it was going to be possible, and I had a lot of safety with him.
Oh, good. So when did you start dating?
So again, let's see. We met 4 years ago, and then it was about 3 months after that.
Okay, so 3 months after you met? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so who proposed to who?
He proposed to me. It was a running joke, kind of, we had, let's get married, and I was very, on the fence. I didn't want him to think, I just want to, get married, just, to just be a wife and, live that life. But he really wanted to, establish our relationship and to build a family. And I believed him, and it was great. So he proposed to me, it was about had to have been 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
That he proposed on a little weekend getaway to Palm Springs.
Okay, so Palm Springs. And tell me a little bit about the wedding.
So the wedding was really small. We ended up, renting an Airbnb up in Santa Barbara. So we got married at the courthouse in Santa Barbara. And we had all of our, all of our friends and family. So we kept it really small again, and we just had a party, like basically a backyard party to celebrate us and our choice.
Okay, and 2 years ago when you filed the application, I did review your file, and I saw the pictures of the wedding, beautiful wedding with your family there. How was your relationship with your ex-husband?
Oh, it was great. We got along so well. I was surprised, people often say that they married their best friend, and I always thought, they must be joking, but I honestly married my best friend. He was somebody I was extremely comfortable with, and we got along so well. His family embraced me so lovingly and openly that I felt comfortable.
Did you like his family?
Yes, I loved them. I felt, at ease with them. Even if he wasn't around, I definitely felt...
Do you still talk to them?
Yeah. His sister and I, speak a couple times a week. His mom and I will, talk to each other. We'll send texts to each other. She checks in on me as I check in on her. I love them. They're my family here.
Very good. So, what would he and you like to do during your time off?
Time off usually entailed us going to different restaurants, because of the business that he works in. Yeah, he knows a lot of these different restaurants to go to. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way that we spent our time, just trying different cuisine. Mm-hmm. We also love going to the movies together. Mm-hmm. And at times we'd find, different concerts or different musical events to attend as well. But it was mostly, dining out, eating out with friends.
And so where did he work, and what was his work schedule?
So he worked at a bar in Culver City, and his work schedule, it ranged, but it tended to be, between 3 to midnight. Sometimes he'd be getting home at, 2 a.m., so, he'd go into the evenings, 6 to 2.
Okay, and what about you? Where do you work, and what's your work schedule?
So I work in a law office, and I work, regular office hours, so usually, between 9 to 5. So I'll work during the day as he works at night.
So your schedule, I would assume you work during the day.
Yes, correct.
Correct. Okay. And so when did you have time to see your ex-husband?
So he had 2 days off in the week. It was usually Sundays and Mondays. Sometimes it would be Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So we would see each other on the evenings during those days.
Mm-hmm.
But most weekends we have those mornings together. So we'd spend Saturday and Sunday morning, sometimes going to farmers markets on Sundays.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it sounds like you did not see him a lot.
No, so we tried to make the most out of the time we did have. It was a strain,
Mm-hmm.
but we tried to make the most of it.
Okay. So what happened that led to your separation and subsequent divorce?
So I came home. I came home one day at lunch, which I don't normally do, but I did that day, and I saw his shoes, in our living room, and I thought, he was gone. He had to have a work meeting, and I knew he was gone that day. And I came into our bedroom, and he was with another woman, and I couldn't believe it.
So sorry.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I'm really sorry.
It was. I mean, he was my best friend.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean.
So, did you try some marriage counseling?
Yes, so. I couldn't go back to work after that. I was so distraught, and I'd never seen myself act this way. And, of course, I kicked him out that day, but I called him not too long after, and only because I was so confused. I suggested to him to come back. Of course, he did, so that we could talk about what I saw, and immediately brought up marriage counseling once we were face-to-face. Because I thought, he's my best friend. And we got along and get along so well that I was surprised that our relationship had turned when I had no idea. So I thought it important to fight for.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. You were very consistent in your testimony. You were very credible, very believable, and I'm going to recommend your case be approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You'll expect the green card, the permanent green card, to be in the mail, I'd say, within 2 to 3 weeks, okay? And when you've had your green card for 5 years, you do qualify for U.S. citizenship. Make sure you make that application, and then you'll be able to vote once you become a U.S. citizen, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Perfect interview. I recommended approval. It's very good. And you might go back and look at the first I-751 waiver interview. It's exactly what you don't want to do. So in any event, hey, thanks for watching GrayLaw TV. Click below, like, and subscribe.